I'm Kelsey Matola. I'm the manager of sales programs at Dynatrace. I've been at Dynatrace for about 3 years now, and we've been Highspot customers for about a year and a half. The initial problem we identified was that we needed an LMS. And so that was kind of our entry route into looking for a platform. We were looking for somewhere we could do e-learning and take everything off of Zoom. We really quickly understood that just an LMS isn't the way to go anymore. You need a unified platform. And so that's how we landed with Highspot. We wanted somewhere to do the training, the content, and the coaching all in one. Because our initial use case was for training, we've really accelerated all of our training programs with Highspot. So the very first thing we developed was our onboarding path. We took about 40 hours of Zoom meetings and put that into e-learning so that our new sellers come to now our in-person boot camp prepared with the basically what to know, and they can use that time in person more effectively with role-play scenarios. We've iterated on that in the year we've had, and we've just been growing it and making a better experience for our new sellers. The other piece of that is having all of the content they need where they need it and with the context to tell them how to use it successfully. So it's not just learning anymore. It's here's your e-learning, but here's where you can review materials after, and here's how you can get set up with your manager for continued success. Another thing we didn't have previously was kind of, I know this seems rudimentary, but any specific ongoing learning programs. And so what we've been able to launch this year is continued enablement for our sellers. So right before our flagship customer event, we were able to send out e-learning programs about what our announcements were going to be and how they should engage with customers at our event in February. We were then able to do the same thing before sales kickoff, and we did a quarterly learning program in the summer. So now we just have a constant loop where we're able to engage with our sellers, and past our weekly calls, past our flagship events, it makes it much more valuable for our sellers. I think a lot of our adoption does come from those mandatory training events. We do have, but we do look at it on each spoke of the wheel. So we have weekly calls where we give out content and resources, and the only place to get that is on Highspot. We have a single source of truth with Highspot. Those calls and those kind of weekly topics are supported by quarterly training. That's a mandatory training program. We had 96% completion during a summer holiday vacation time. So that was really outstanding for us. So our managers are good partners in making sure that our sellers are completing their training and getting maximum value out of the content we put out. We have Highspot on both sides of the organization, or what we consider both sides, our pre-sales and our post-sales. And post-sales has really been ramping up their training and has used Highspot as their single source of truth as well. And so I think that's why across our whole user base, we see people going in, which is really effective adoption. We've really been using sales play pages as our method forward. So we really do like the what to know, what to say, what to show, what to do framework for building up context for our sellers and our post-sales teams. So anytime we need to tell them about an initiative or about, position a new product or something like that, we do it through a sales play page. Of course, we also have what we consider our 6 sales plays, how to sell the Dynatrace product. And those are some of our most viewed play pages. And I think that's because that's the one place you can go to get that content. And we did a Highspot user survey and asked if they liked the format of the no, say, show, do, if they'd prefer something else. And people really did like seeing, having it structured in that way so that they can get the information on top. They can have the notes about how to bring it up in conversation with their customers in the middle. They know exactly what to show after their meeting, and then, a few action steps on the bottom. I think that repetitive nature of training our sellers, this is how you find information, has been really helpful in having them repeated use of our sales plays. Highspot has really been able to help us scale our programs. We have a field of about 1,000 that we're trying to reach, and we couldn't do that simply on our weekly calls anymore or asking managers to, share information. So the training and coaching platform really allows us to do that. Our programs help sellers understand what they need to know on a quarterly basis, but we're also starting to really build out our suite of materials for product training and kind of bite-sized learning. And I think that's where we're headed next. You can target the sellers who are here with you now, but we're constantly onboarding new sellers and we're constantly bringing new people into the organization, and having those training and coaching modules allows us to reach those new sellers and continue to enable them without having to constantly hold in-person workshops. And I think that's where part of the scale comes in. One of the surprising things I found was that our sellers are interested in more training. I thought as a seller, you're hit with 1,000 things, you're hit with 1,000 requirements, who wants to sit and do more training? But we found an appetite within those survey results for continued training, for continued enablement. And I think that's one really exciting thing we'll take into this next phase with Highspot, is to meet them where they're at, give them the more materials that they're curious about and that they're asking for. And we're grateful for Highspot to, help us do that.